Our target is 9th this season, and we are sitting 9th, all thanks to Leclerc's 1 point that he picked up in Dubai. Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Race to the Top. I'm Ian, and in today's episode, we do have a couple of things to talk about. First and foremost, we do have to have a little bit of a discussion about it, a bit of a debrief on the previous race, because I was actually pretty happy. I thought, a point, you know what, I'm pretty happy with that. But I'll tell you what. Let's stop interrupting for a second and let's answer this question. You finished well down the pecking order in practice, only managing to finish in 16th. Did you struggle to find the right setup? Nah, the setup was fine. Yeah, the debrief. I think, looking back now, that starting Leclerc on the softs was probably the biggest mistake that I made, the biggest mistake, because I think, you know, I was so sort of worried about him being flooded by the cars behind, that starting him on the softs made logical sense. But really, I think starting on the mediums may have been better, because the mediums, being that middle compound, it's not really putting our eggs all in one basket. If you started on the hards, then we've got to go, you know, a long way on the hards before going on to the softs. And of course, the opposite is true with the softs. Starting on the mediums, it allows us to have sort of see where we are in, you know, by the time the first lot of pit stops are being made. Because we started on the softs, one of the biggest mistakes that we made was then when we had to pit, we came out and we were stuck behind traffic, and that cost us a lot of time. We're starting on the medium, some of that traffic would have been further up the road or even further back, and so we may have gone back out into clean air, which may not have affected us as badly. So I think that's probably our biggest mistake. But this is something that I really wanted to talk about, because I actually saw this before I started recording, so I sort of reloaded the save so you could see. Joey Mawson's not very happy at Koiranen GP, and he's saying he wants to leave if a better offer comes along, which, quite frankly, good riddance to the bloke, because after that last race, you know, I've sort of made the decision that I'm going to give him 1, 2, maybe 3 more races, and he's got to really show his worth, otherwise I'm going to get rid of him. Because if we have a quick look at some of the drivers that are available, someone that I've actually been keeping my eye on is like this man. You got Dominic Baumann, for instance, he's only 24. He's not bad. He's a team player as well, which is really, really promising. So, and I think we could probably get him on quite cheap wages, a lot cheaper than Charles Leclerc's on. Then you got someone like Sam Bird, even 30 years of age. He's not too bad. Then you've got like Jan Urlacher. So there's quite a few good drivers around that would improve our driving lineup by getting rid of Joey Mawson, because Joey Mawson is gash. So that's sort of what we're sort of looking at. The other thing as well is maybe another mistake that perhaps we could have improved on in the previous race was when Mawson did crash out. Maybe we should have pitted Leclerc onto the hard tyres, because he would have been at the back of the pack. Okay, he would have had to fought through the pack once again, but I think by pitting him early, he could have gone the rest of the race, and we could have sort of backed him off. It would have been almost like a free pit stop, really. So I don't think that's a huge thing for us, but I think that's something that we have to bear in mind coming into future races. Which is what I want to talk about today, because we have got Tondola in tomorrow's race. We've got the qualifying for it today, of course, as normal. The gearbox is crucial in this race, and if we go and have a look at the following race, Cape Town, it's both the brakes and the gearbox are really, really crucial, which is the two parts that we can actually improve on. If we go design new part, see, we can do the gearbox and the brakes. So what I'm thinking is we will improve the gearbox. Now, the gearbox won't be done for Tondola. It should be done for Cape Town, and of course it'll be done for Singapore, and then it's ready for Munich as well. So, and it's useful in Guildford as well, if you just saw that. So that's why I think going for the gearbox is the most important thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to really, really push for great acceleration. It's going to cost a little bit of money to build, but it will really, really help us, and we can give that to Leclerc and hopefully get a couple more points, because fighting for 9th and 10th place is going to be really, really tough this season. If you remember from the previous like the off-season episode, which would be episode 1, I'd already set to improve the improve performance and reliability on the gearbox, because it's so crucial here in Tondola. So that's why we're sort of working on that, and we want to try and bump up that reliability a little bit as well, because the brakes and the gearbox are both pretty low at the moment, and I'm hoping that we should be able to bump them up. And we will have a quick look at swapping some of the pit crew around as well. We're going to bring Ankuri on in place of Kijama, I believe, and what we'll do is, I think that's pretty much all we can really do. I think we'll bring on, say, Ranhel for Koiranen as well, just to reduce that mistake percentage chance. We will have to start looking at hiring some new pit crew as well, because some of the ones that have been around since the beginning, they've only got 3 races to go on their contract. So we've either got to renew some of them, or we've got to start looking at bringing in some better pit crew, which if you have a look, there's some really, really good pit crew available. Like Nystrom, for instance, is looking really, really good at changing tyres and fixing. He'd be fantastic in that on the front of the car. So that's something that we'll have to look at as well. In terms of Tondola, though, I don't really know what we can expect in this race, because the gearbox is so crucial, and that's a part that everyone can start changing. They can start improving their own gearboxes. We could find ourselves starting to fall away a little bit. Dubai, everything was spec that was crucial, so it was quite a close race. But this one, being a gearbox, I'm expecting it to. I'll start again. Since the gearbox is so crucial, I'm expecting to not do quite as well. It's Joey Mawson's birthday. Should we get him a present? No, the card will do. If he wants to leave, then he can leave. We should be finishing our. We're going to get the forecasting centre done just before this next race, which would be really, really cool. Factory feedback, yeah, it needs an upgrade. We were all aware of that. What we are going to do is we're going to go to improve parts. Let's see how we're doing with the gearbox. The gearbox is improving quite substantially there. We really, really need to fix up this reliability, though. So I'm going to start bumping that down. I'm going to go 5 and 5 for that, just because reliability is crucial. You're not going to win points if you've got bad reliability. And we'll keep going. We've only got a couple of days now till Tondola, and we should have our HQ should be done in 2 days. So let's quickly get through that. We do have to sim round 2 of the Formula 1 season. Now, something that I don't know if you guys saw, I may have sort of finished the recording before you did, the new team that came up, Rapax, they actually picked up a point. So yeah, you picked up 2 points actually in their in the first race of the season, and it looks like maybe that's so they didn't score any points in this race. Yeah, so there you go. So they're actually doing really well. They picked up a point already, which is quite good, because Sauber, if you remember from the race, I mean, Winkelhock had to retire, but Pascal Wehrlein wasn't troubled in the slightest, so you can pretty much assume that Sauber is going to really, really run away with the championship this year, as we've got confirmation of our where are we? I can't even figure it out now. We have got a new building. We've got our forecasting centre, and I can't even find it at the moment, so there you go. But here we go. So we've got the pre-race gossip. No one really cares about that. Pascal Wehrlein expects to do really, really well as well. We should be getting our... There you go. New forecasting centre. I'm really struggling with my words today, and I've got no idea why. Nope, that's for someone else. So where's our forecasting centre? We should be having our forecasting centre now, surely. It's over there somewhere. Is it? Is that it? Forecasting centre. There you go. We have got our forecasting centre. It must have been completed before, but I thought we got a mail item, but obviously we didn't. So we've now got a forecasting centre, which is really, really good for us. Really, really important. And that will help us make some better race strategies as well. But we'll quickly get into... upcoming race. I'll quickly skip through this one. So it's a 54-lap race. The lap record's a 1:36.7. There's only a 10% chance of rain, which if you look, it looks like qualifying is going to be in the wet. The race should be pretty dry. I mean, there's a 10% chance. That's a pretty low chance. Racing Engineering have the best gearbox in the championship. If we have a quick look at the standings then, so they actually did really, really well, because Winkelhock had to retire. Sauber Motorsport only picked up the 25 points from Pascal Wehrlein, but then Barrichello and Malia, they came in second and third. So that's why Racing Engineering are leading the championship at the moment. So that's quite interesting. And the tyres is the same as the Dubai race. It's soft, mediums, and hards. Let's have a quick look then. So we are racing here in Tondola, and what track is this? Is this the whole circuit? No, I can't even see. Track D. There you go. Track D in Tondola. Part fitting, for instance. We'll quickly go and have a look at this. As you can see, everything's pretty much the same. There's not a great deal of difference between anything. The reliability's fractionally higher in Joey Mawson's car, which I may quickly switch them around. Charles Leclerc's not going to be too happy about that. But if I bump that back, he's still angry anyway, so I don't really... So what if we do it this way? He's content. Well, see, there you go. I think, actually, you know what? I think we're going to give Charles Leclerc the more reliable parts, purely because Joey Mawson... he's going to have to prove his worth this season, because I think the step up to Formula 2 might be a step too far for him. So by seeing him actually see what he can do with poor reliability will be quite interesting. And Charles Leclerc, he's most likely going to score points, so let's give him all the best parts. And we'll cut now to qualifying, which will be in 5 seconds after that intro thing. So, qualifying, here we are. We didn't do too badly in the end. We had Charles Leclerc coming across right at the death, and he finished in 7th in the end. We really pushed the tyres and the engine just to sort of see what time he could get, and he did come in 7th. I gave Joey Mawson a break and put Fuoco in the car, and he came dead last, which that doesn't really fill me with much confidence. But then, to be fair, Joey Mawson I don't think would have done that much better. As you can see, we did very well. We got to level 2 on the race trim and the medium tyres, which is fantastic stuff for the race, but it does mean that qualifying we may sort of struggle a little bit. As you can see a lot further into the distance now. We can start to see a little bit of rain coming down with about 5 minutes left in the session, so we may have to go out early on the softs just to set a decent time, and then hopefully the rain might dissipate and we may be able to go out right at the death for another lap, but I'm not too hopeful of that. You may have seen, I didn't actually mention it, but you may have just seen that we didn't manage to do very well on the feedback for Leclerc. As you can see, he only managed great. We got about 95% in the end, which isn't that fantastic. I will send him out now, and I'm actually going to send Joey Mawson out just behind him to do the same, because Joey Mawson's with Fuoco, he managed to get excellent in handling and the speed balance, but downforce wasn't that great. But we got 97%, so I'm not too disappointed, all things considered. And we will go out, and it looks like we are going to be the first to set times again. Rubens Barrichello, who I looked up, actually, I had to see how old he was, because honestly, I mean, he should be collecting his pension, I believe, but he's only 44 in this game, so that's actually not too bad. So he actually set the fastest time in practice. So a 44-year-old set the fastest time, and that's that engineering team, whatever they're called. I can't even remember what the team's called now. Let's quickly click on him and see where if it tells us. Racing Engineering, there you go. They're the team that were expected to do well, and they have done well. Keep an eye out for Sauber as well, of course. So I'm sort of hoping for, again, mid-table. I think like Leclerc with 7th place. Admittedly, it was at the death of practice, and we were really pushing the engines, but he did set it on mediums, and he beat quite a few cars that were on the softs, so let's sort of see what he can do. As Leclerc has overheated his brakes, we've got good tyre temperature. Joey Mawson looks like he's done the exact same thing. As we're about to go out now, Leclerc just gets in front of some traffic. I don't know who that is. That looks like the Sauber, actually. So we managed to get in front of them, which is really good. So Leclerc's got some nice clean air now on this very long track. And as you can see, the rain is going to come down quite heavy, so we are just going to get this lap in before the rain comes down, which may really benefit us. But there are quite a few cars out, so I don't think we're going to be setting pole, unfortunately. As you can see, the Sauber's itching to get past us. That's how quick they are. They're only on their out lap, and they're really pushing hard, as Leclerc is going to have to let him go past. Leclerc's gone fastest in the second sector at the moment. Joey Mawson hasn't done very well there, as Barrichello's now gone fastest in the second sector. Leclerc, what is going on here? I mean, back off, Sauber. We are on a hot lap. But Leclerc is going to cross the line as Matsushita's going fastest in the first 2 sectors. So Leclerc goes fastest with a 1:32.3. Mawson's going to cross the line any second now. He's just about a quarter of a second slower. Barrichello, though, look at the time difference there. Leclerc's so close to Barrichello's time. That's so disappointing. Roland's gone fastest in that first sector, so let's flick over to him as the rain is coming down now. So this is really benefiting us. All these people that are out on these laps at the moment, like King, we're watching out for him because that's that MP Motorsport, remember, and Stippler as well. They're our biggest challengers. They're coming 10th in the championship. We need to beat them, and they are really hurting now with this rain coming down. I don't think anyone's really going to be able to beat our times, as Mawson still keeps falling, as Winkelhock's gone second fastest, as we are falling a little bit. There's not enough dampness on the track to affect things too much by the looks of things, but some of these back markers will surely start to struggle, as Roland, who we were watching, has just gone second fastest, but that rain's really coming down now. Where is Stippler? Stippler's 10th. He's the one that we're watching. King's gone slowest. He's just crossed the line there, and he's really tiptoeing around this lap on these soft tyres. So I'm not too disappointed. 9th and 16th, I'm pretty happy with that. Mawson in 16th is probably the best. I think, I sort of thought Leclerc would be around 7th, 8th, something like that. And the fact that he's 9th, I can't really complain too heavily there. Stippler is the one that we have to keep an eye on, but I don't think the rain's staying now until right at the end there. You can see there's, with 30 seconds left in the session, there'll be no rain, but it does look like the dampness on track's going to stay. So that's going to basically do us for qualifying. I don't think anything's going to change now. Matsushita has gone out on the intermediate, so we will just quickly watch him, but let's be real, he's not going to be setting a faster time on intermediates, as Albon's doing the same as well. But we're going to just sit. I don't think anything's going to change. We're going to be 9th and 16th. There's not really much we can do about that. Mawson's getting onto the team radio. He's really, really bitterly disappointed with that lap time. He thinks he can go faster. I don't think he can. I'll be absolutely truthful, I don't think he can go faster. I think this is his limit. He's a back marker in Formula 2. So he's got to do a lot this season. He's got, as I say earlier, he's got 2-3 races to really impress me. Otherwise, we're going to start looking around for some other drivers. As we'll quickly cut to watch Matsushita going around, because he is setting a time on the intermediates. There's a lot of cars going out on the intermediates now. I don't think it's going to be worth it, to be fair. I think everyone's just going out to sort of set another lap just in case, because time's running out now, so we can't really go out now. And I think people sort of panicked and thought, well, let's go out in the very extremely unlikely chance of something happening. But as you can see, Matsushita is already over half a second down on that first sector time that was set by Malia. So, look, there's not really much more to go about now. I think in terms of the race strategy then, let's have a quick talk about that for tomorrow's race. I think we'll start Leclerc on the mediums, and we'll start Mawson on the mediums as well, maybe even the hards, and we'll just try and just grind it out. It'll backfire if a safety car comes in, because we may have to sort of pit and we may not really benefit from it. But if there's no safety car, then we can hope that when other cars start pitting, like particularly these cars at the front, they're going to start on the soft tyres more than likely, and we can start on the mediums. And hopefully when they pit, we'll come out in front of them. If we could slow them down a little bit before they blow past us on the quicker tyres, or fresher tyres at least, then that might benefit us. Particularly then when we pit, we can come out and hopefully have some clean air. Because Leclerc, I think, got so disadvantaged in the previous race, where he was doing all right time-wise, but then he pitted and he came out and he was just stuck behind traffic, people on hard tyres, and our car's just not good enough to get past. It might be a bit different this race because we've got the gearbox that's crucial, and it's going to sort of spread the field a little bit. The previous race, it was all spec parts that were the crucial parts, so there wasn't really that gulf between the haves and the have-nots. So that may sort of change things a little bit. In terms of this race, we may sort of see there's a bit more clean air going around, but I'm pretty hopeful that, the big one's Stippler. We've got to keep an eye on Stippler for MP Motorsport. As long as Leclerc stays ahead of Stippler after the first couple of laps, then the race is in our hands. But we'll also have to watch to see what Stippler does, because if he starts out on the softs, then we could have a completely different race on our hands, as we've still got a few cars straggling. So what I'll do is I'll just speed this up now, because no one wants to listen to me talking about tomorrow's episode whilst we watch a couple of cars going around the track, as there's the last couple of cars now crossing now. So Malia did get pole in the end for Racing Engineering, unsurprisingly, but his teammate Rubens Barrichello right down in 6th place, and you got Winkelhock and Verline for Sauber. Expect to see them do a lot better in tomorrow's race as well, and they were 3rd and 4th. Oliver Rowland, though, up in 2nd place for Dams. That's really good, but as you can see, Charles Leclerc in 9th place for Koiranen, with his teammate Joey Mawson down in 16th. But the cars that we're watching for, Frank Stippler and Jordan King for MP Motorsport. Jordan King's right at the back of the grid. That's going to be really helpful for tomorrow's race. So if you enjoyed that episode, again, put a big thumbs up there. You know the drill, and I'll see you tomorrow for the race in Tondola. See you later.